Let me start with a question that's gotten two different executives into my calendar in the last few months. Who owns your customer's experience? Not who measures it, not who talks about it in the all hands. Who actually owns it across every channel, every department, every handoff with the authority to make people move? Sit with that one for a second, because when I ask it in a room full of senior leaders, what I actually get back is silence, or worse, 5 hands go up and every one of them is pointing at a different slice. That silence, that's the whole episode. So here's what happened. Two leaders called me, total strangers to each other, completely opposite problems. The first was a chief transformation officer. 18 months in a huge program, and on paper, total win. New platform live, migration clean, consultants paid and gone. And yet, customers were still walking out the door, and his frontline was buried in workarounds nobody ever designed. He said to me, "The strategy was right, so why does it feel broken?" The second was a brand new chief experience officer, opposite situation. She could measure everything: NPS, journey analytics, a voice of customer program most companies would kill for. She knew exactly where it hurts, and what she didn't have was a single person whose job was to actually design the fix across 12 channels and 4 business units. She told me, "I can see the problem perfectly. I just can't move it." Now, different sponsors, opposite pain, but here's what got me. Same root cause. And it's this. In most big organizations, the customer's experience is everybody's adjacent concern and nobody's actual mandate. Now, I want to be honest with you, because the easy version of this episode would be me selling you a job title. I'm not going to do that. Here's the uncomfortable part. The discipline I am describing, service design, looks like almost every senior role you already have. A consultant analyzes the business, an enterprise architect maps the systems and the data, a product manager rallies the team towards an outcome, a UX designer perfects the screen, a CX team measures and advocates, and a service designer touches all of that same ground. So the fair challenge, the one a sharp leader should throw at me, is, "Hitesh, isn't this just a mishmash of roles I already pay for?" And if service design were defined by a capability, that challenge would win. But it isn't. It's defined by an accountability. And that one word changes the entire game. Let me show you what I mean. Every one of those roles I just listed shares a hidden assumption. They optimize the organizations from the inside out, from the institution's point of view. The architect asks, "Is our data coherent?" The business architect asks, "Do our capabilities serve our strategy?" The process engineer asks, "Is this workflow efficient?" And all three of them are correct. When the company is internally tidy, their work gets judged looking inwards. Service design flips the camera around. The unit of analysis isn't the company, it's the person moving through it. And the system gets judged on one thing only: does it deliver value to that person? And here's the kicker: those are not the same test. You can have an organization that is architecturally beautiful, capability aligned, process optimized. Every specialist signs off, every dashboard glows green, and it can still be quietly losing customers because the coherence is measured in one direction and the failure is happening in the other. That's exactly why my two callers were stuck. The transformation guy optimized inside out and couldn't understand why the customer didn't feel it. The experienced leader could see outside in, but had nobody positioned to act on it. Same gap. Both feet planted right on it. Okay, let me make this real, because abstraction is where these ideas go to die. Think about buying a car, or that experience when you went to buy a car. You start on the website, configuring the model, picking the color, building up this picture in your head. Then you jump to email to negotiate. Different channel now, slower, and you've shared what you actually want. Then you walk into the showroom, new person greets you, totally different energy, and all that trust you built over email, gone. Poof. Because this rep has no idea who you are. And then financing, where the numbers, the legal language, and the anxiety all spike at the same moment. Now, here's the thing. Every one of those four channels can be individually excellent. The website's gorgeous, the email rep's responsive, the showroom's warm, and the journey still falls apart. Why? Because what you carry from one channel gets dropped at the doorway of the next. The showroom rep doesn't see your online bill because the CRM isn't wired to the inventory tool. The finance desk starts from scratch because your sales conversation was never captured. The front stage scene breaks because the backstage systems were never connected. And that right there, that is the heart of this whole thing. The customer don't just experience the touch points, they also experience the systems or your products. They experience the transitions between them as well. And the transitions are precisely where nobody is standing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Hitesh, but no single person can be an expert in websites and email and showroom design and financing. And you'd be completely right. So let me reframe it. The service designer is not the expert. They are the architect of the expert collaboration. Think about a building architect. They don't pour concrete, they don't wire the electrical, but they hold the blueprint, the thing that tells every specialist what the whole building has to do, where their work touches someone else's, and what it should feel like to walk through it. That's the job. Not knowing what your voice assistant should sound like, that's a conversation designer's craft. But knowing that in this anxious moment of the journey, it needs to sound reassuring, not efficient. And getting the brand team, the product team, and the conversation team all designing towards that one human need. The skill isn't doing every channel, it's having enough fluency to eat in each one to ask the right question and to know when a specialist answer is missing something the customer would feel. So let me bring this all the way home. Service design is a connective discipline, not a domain discipline. Its value lives in the connections between things, not in the depth of any one thing. And yeah, that makes it harder to put on an org chart, harder to hire for. Honestly, easier to fake as well. But it is not made up. It exists because big organizations optimize function by function, naturally shatter the customer's experience as a byproduct of their own design. McKinsey has found for years that around 70% of transformations fail to hit their goals. And it's almost never the analysis, it's the place where the experience actually lives. Service design is a response to that leak. So here's the reframe I want to leave you with. The question is not, does this overlap with roles I already have? Of course it does. The real question is, the one that actually matters is this. On your most important initiative right now, who is accountable for the customer's whole experience across every silo with the authority to make the specialist move? And if your honest answer is the architects and the engineers collectively sort of, then you just found the seam where your value is leaking out. And you found the reason this role exists. So here is what I would love you to do this week. Pick your biggest initiative and just ask out loud in the room, who owns the whole experience here? Watch what happens. Watch where the hands point or don't. This is one of the ideas I dig into a lot deeper in my book. CX First, Service Design, Systems Thinking, the Service Blueprint as tools for leaders, not just designers. This is Human Centered Experience. I'm Hitesh Bagai. See you next week. Thanks for listening to my podcast. If you found this insightful, please subscribe, share, and check out my recent article on this topic on LinkedIn. As always, feel free to get in touch with me with comments, suggestions, and ideas. I'm Hitesh, and I'll see you next time.